camshaft bearings are one of those things that appear super simple, but it's actually pretty easy to get them wrong. There's a few things you have to know to install a set, and the number one thing is each one of these bearings in the box is going to have a different part number because it has to end up in a specific location within the block. Also, a lot of them are going to have an oiling slot that when you install them, you're supposed to clock them to line up with the oiling hole that is drilled into the block. The third thing is, when you install them, you absolutely have to line them up perfectly, or else when you install the cam, you will have a hard time spinning it, or it will bind completely. I'm going to show you guys how to install a set correctly. Okay, so right now I'm going to mark the spot where the oiling holes are to make it easier for me to see them. So with a marker, I'm going to mark the location of the oiling holes. Now I'm going to grab my installation tool and push it through the block carefully. I'm gonna grab the correct bearing, in this case number 5, and I'm gonna place it at the end of the tool. And I'm going to tighten this up. Make sure the bearing is sitting flush. On the tool. That's pretty good. Now you're going to turn it so that you can see the slot, like so, and line it up with the mark that you made. Now you have to make sure that on the other end you have the alignment cone in place before you start driving it in. And you're ready to carefully start installing it. And I think the first one is good. Now you just have to check your work. Actually have to loosen it up. You want to make sure that the oiling hole is lined up. Perfect. Now I'm going to do the next bearing. Make sure you line it up correctly, and also find the slot and line it up with the oiling hole. Make sure that it went in correctly. I know that by now you feel like you know what's going on and you can figure out the rest, but trust me, you need to watch the whole video. Perfect. So we're almost done and we only have one left to do, but this is where it gets tricky because all along we've been having the luxury of having the tool help us line the bearings up in order that we get it perfectly straight. But you'll notice that I'm at the last bearing, so I don't have a place for the cup. Okay, how am I gonna fix that? Let me show you guys. Alright, so I told you that this last one would be tricky, and if you stuck here till the end, thank you. Yes, for this one the engine is off the stand, and yes, I'll be hitting it from the back. So now the only test left is to put in a cam and see if it will spin freely. And once you got the cam in, you should be able to spin it with one hand and nothing else. You shouldn't feel any binding or anything, and that's how you know everything was done correctly. Thanks for watching, guys, and please consider subscribing. Take care.